What's up everyone? Today we're going to be comparing noodles that take 2 minutes to cook versus 20 minutes to cook versus 2 hours to cook. Let's get into the 2-minute noodles. So for the noodles that take 2 minutes, we're going to go ahead and put 1.5 cups of water into a pot. We're going to put it on medium-high heat, and once it's almost started boiling, we're going to go ahead and put in our packet of 2-minute noodles. And we're going to go ahead and cook this for 2 minutes, obviously. About halfway through, we're just going to mix them around a bit. And now that 2 minutes has passed, we're going to go ahead and turn off the heat and tip in our noodles into a bowl. Just like so. We're also going to go ahead and add in the seasoning packet and just mix it around a bit like this. All right, let's give these 2-minute noodles a try. The chicken flavor is actually really good in this, so it's actually a bit better than I expected. For 2 minutes, these are a really, really good snack. I think I'm gonna have to give these a 7 out of 10. All right, let's do the 20-minute noodles now. Now for our 20-minute noodles, we're gonna make some creamy garlic ramen. Now to start off, we're gonna go ahead and open up our noodle packet. And this can be done with any brand of noodles, but these are my favorite. We're gonna go ahead and put in this spice packet into a bowl. We're probably only gonna do half of it. Then we're gonna add in a bit of Kewpie mayonnaise. That'll probably be good. We're gonna mince about 2 cloves of garlic. We're gonna add in our 2 cloves of garlic. And we're also gonna go ahead and add in 1 egg yolk. And we're just gonna mix this around. Mix it about until you get a paste just like so. Now we're gonna go ahead and pour in some water into a pot, put it on medium-high, and we're gonna go ahead and add in the veggie mix, as well as our noodles, and we'll cook them for their recommended cook time. And we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing that we did with the 2-minute noodles and stir them around about halfway through. Then once it's finished cooking, we're gonna go ahead and take it off of the heat and pour in a bit of water into our bowl. Then we're also gonna go ahead and add in our noodles and mix these around until they're combined. Now for these noodles only taking 20 minutes, they do look pretty good. So let's give them a try. Wow, they're very creamy. And overall, I think I'd give these a solid 7.5 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10 actually. Anyway, let's move on to the 2-hour noodles. And now finally, we have the 2-hour noodles, which are homemade chili oil noodles. So let's start. First off, we're gonna pour in 250 grams of flour. Now we're gonna go ahead and add our 250 grams of flour into a large bowl, along with 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then we're gonna mix this together, and we're gonna go ahead and slowly add in 150 grams of water while whisking together the flour. And for this part, I'm gonna use a spatula instead of a whisk because getting it stuck to a whisk is a lot worse than getting it stuck to a spatula. Now once all of the water has been added to our mixture like so, we're gonna go ahead and use our hands to turn this into a shaggy dough. Now once we've gotten a dough that looks something like this, we can go ahead and cover it and let it rest for about 30 minutes. And now that 30 minutes has passed, we're gonna go ahead and dust our board out with a bit of flour. And we're gonna go ahead and get out our dough and knead it for about 3 minutes. Now after about 3 minutes has passed, you should get a nice and soft dough just like so. Now we can go ahead and take out a pasta machine or a rolling pin and dust it with flour like so. We can get out our dough and roll it on the first setting. Now I've also cut it in half because it was tearing quite a lot, so this will probably fix it. Now we're gonna go ahead and turn it to the first setting, or the second setting technically, and just put it through. Then to the second setting, now to the third setting, and that's gonna be it. We don't really want it too thin because it is gonna be some pretty thick noodles, so 3 settings will just do. And we're just gonna dust it with a bit more flour. Now after we've put in a lot of flour on it, we're gonna go ahead and fold it in half and then fold it into quarters. Now we're gonna rotate this 90 degrees like so, and we're just gonna go ahead and start cutting up our noodles. Now these can be whatever thickness you like, but I like about this thickness. All right, now that we've gotten all of our noodles, we can go ahead and unfold all of them. And now we've finished making our homemade noodles. We can put them into a bowl like so and set them aside because we're gonna start making our chili oil noodles. Now for our chili oil mixture, we're gonna go ahead and mince 3 cloves of garlic. Now once this has been minced, we can go ahead and put it into a bowl like so, along with 1.5 tablespoons or 15 grams of chili flakes, about 2 tablespoons or 20 grams of sugar, 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce, And finally, 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce. Now we can go ahead and mix this up. Now we're gonna go ahead and put in 1/4 cup of vegetable oil and heat it up. Now once the oil's been heating up for quite a while, we can go ahead and pour in our oil into our chili. Just like so. And we're also gonna go ahead and just mix it around a bit. I think 1/4 cup of oil was a bit too much. I'd probably recommend doing an 1/8. Now we've got some boiling water in a pot and we can go ahead and put in our noodles and cook them for about 2 minutes. Make sure to constantly mix them or else they'll stick to the bottom of the pot. Now after about 2 minutes has passed, we can go ahead and take our noodles and put them into the chili oil. And after that, we can go ahead and give them a stir until they're combined. Now I also think I've put in just a bit too much sauce, so I'm gonna tip some out. All right, so here is the final product, the chili oil noodles, the 2-hour noodles. Let's give them a try and rate them out of 10. Wow, there's so much flavor to these. They've got the flavor of the sugar, the soy sauce, the noodles, the chili. It tastes really, really good. I think I'm gonna have to give these an 8.5 out of 10, or maybe even a 9 out of 10. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.